This NFC North preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kram?
Dog. I think corporate gambling could be in the system as we speak.
Really?
Trying to take us down.
What? You got internet issues?
I don't know. We might be a little blurry. We'll see.
Oh no!
We'll see
Yes,
if it
I'm seeing the blurriness. We're gonna power through.
Seems like it may be.
Shout out to Spectrum. You suck. But
it's been a while since they've sucked, but it would be right on brand for Spectrum to suck.
Start sucking right around football season.
Fuck you. If that happens, Sean, we're gonna break something. We're gonna break Spectrum.
We got to get Elon and his Starlink.
Yeah. I wonder how well it would work here. What's wrong?
No, nothing.
Oh, yeah. I was just pondering how well would it work on top of our building. Imagine the landlord coming by and seeing us up there trying to install a satellite.
Well, he didn't say anything when we installed 8 TVs on the on our office wall without mentioning it to him.
He did say it was cool.
Yeah, he did. I actually liked it. So I know Ryan likes to battle it out with the landlord, but the fact that he didn't get upset that we wall mounted 8 TVs, creating a wall of the Grateful Dead created the wall of sound, and we created the wall of sports, Ryan. It is just an entire wall dedicated to football related activity.
Yeah, what was he going to say about it? It's beautiful.
It really is.
What
pretty awesome. Maybe he follows the account on Twitter and is like, hey, those are my tenants. What are they up to? Well, I'll tell you what we're up to. We're talking National Football League. The NFL is here. It's awesome. We just knocked out part 1 and part 2 of college football picks for week 1, hot off the Georgia Tech Moneyline cash. That was certainly carried the week for me. That helped parlay certain Will Levis related futures, Ryan, which we will discuss, I'm sure, in greater detail. But yeah, we're here talking NFC North, the Norris division. Starting off with the Minnesota Vikings, win total sitting at 6.5. I had them 7-10. You have them 6-11. What are your big picture thoughts on the Minnesota Vikings, Ryan?
We did this a preview before
the JJ McCarthy injury, which is very annoying because one of my favorite underdog season long plays was JJ McCarthy lower passing touchdowns of 18.5. So obviously that play voided, but damn it, that was the fact. Right, I don't mean to insult Daniel Jones, but it's like the same number as Daniel Jones,
which is insulting.
He's
a rookie.
Well, yeah, he's a rookie, and he wasn't scheduled to start, so I guess they were insulting you.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was still involved in the handicap with Sam Darnold being on the team.
Yeah.
And as much as it was fun to say, well, Sam Darnold on the 49ers could be a fun candidate to do some crazy stuff if he manages to win. Okay, it didn't happen. Brock Purdy played for another year. But now, because of that extra year removed since we watched Sam Darnold play, people are like, just slap him in this system. No problem. Vikings will be fine.
Yeah,
what?
I mean,
this was a team that people were saying should have been more like a 5-win team with Kirk Cousins 2 seasons ago when they made the playoffs. What are we talking about? A full season of Sam Darnold? Have we not? I mean, are the kids that young that they don't remember New York Jets Sam Darnold?
He's 21-35. And
maybe they remember Carolina Sam Darnold.
Well, even Carolina That was the highlight of his career, and he was 4-2 1 year and then 4-7. But even that 4-2 year, it was not. He threw 7 touchdown passes in 6 games. So he was not lighting the world on fire. Coming off I mean, he only played 1 game last year, but 6.5 yards per attempt. But
maybe
he's a sub 7 yards per attempt quarterback,
aka a scared little bitch.
Yeah, I'm super skeptical, and the fact that he's going to be playing for the entire year, I'm actually going to use one of my
Really?
How many do I have left? I have 2 wins to reduce left, and
2.
I'm going to reduce, and this actually changes the win total. I had them 7-10. That was part of the idea.
Come on down, Sean.
I was kind of optimistic on JJ McCarthy coming in, maybe winning a couple games. He shouldn't have. Maybe it was just us getting drunk with JJ McCarthy's dad at Circa hanging out, and he was really selling me on his son.
That did have a lot to. He seemed very.
But
cool.
Now that he's totally out of the picture, I feel good knocking it, knowing that we're getting 17 games of Sam Darnold. Or now, who's their backup, Ryan? Do you know that?
I should know this. No, I don't.
Josh Oliver.
Nope.
Or no, sorry.
That's a tight end.
Tight end. Nick Mullins.
Oh, my. What?
Nick Mullins. Jaron Hall is the 3rd string quarterback.
Oh, yeah. That's not good.
No.
This is not a good quarterback.
And everyone goes, look, hey, when Kirk Cousins got hurt, look at what they did. The Pastronaut. Did you go back on that Minnesota Vikings? Look what they did. Yeah, in some ways, it's impressive that they hung around, but they also lost a ton of games. Lost to the Lions 30-20 in a meaningless game for the Lions. Lost 33-10 against the Packers. Lost 30-24 against the Detroit Lions. Lost 27-24 in overtime to Jake Browning. Yes, they did beat the Raiders 3-0. I don't know if that's sustainable. They lost to the Bears 12-10. They lost to the Denver Broncos 21-20. And that was like peak, the Pastronaut won you what? He beat the Falcons, the Saints.
Are you calling for Pastronaut regression here?
Well, everyone, their handicap is, he's such a good coach. He doesn't need a quarterback. What are you talking about?
I actually have.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I did a little bit of thinking on this.
Yeah.
I had some alone time. I was driving home after a show, and I was actually thinking about this exact thing. We saw Kevin O'Connell in Vegas at the beautiful Wynn, and whoa, he has.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Might be his wife, maybe a girlfriend. But I could see why people would want to say nice things about Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
He's a good-looking guy. He keeps good-looking company. It feels good to be around good-looking people. So I think a little bit like I uncovered the Nerds' attraction to Carolina is all about Eric Eager. I think Kevin O'Connell's smoking hot girlfriend wife is a lot to do with people.
I think they are married.
Okay.
Googling it.
So wife.
Yes.
Just we'll edit out the girlfriend part. That's why I said both.
Well, maybe it's a girlfriend experience out in Vegas.
Well, that's the thing. We don't want to blow. Is the wife? Hopefully, it's the same woman. Anyway.
No, I googled her. It was the same woman.
Wouldn't be the first time I ran into someone very notable who was probably not with the person they were supposed to be. Anyway, so long story short, it's a Sam Darnold season. And I think you're crazy to be taking the over. So good on you to take that win away.
And it's justified because I wouldn't have been shocked if JJ McCarthy, who was looking pretty sharp in the preseason, came in. And you see this all the time. Couple rookies early, they win a couple games. Maybe they shouldn't win. They don't know how to play them. The book is out on Sam Darnold, and it's not a good book.
Well, so
the book is this guy sucks.
So let's talk about it.
And I think between now and then I got in an argument with all these people claiming Sam Darnold was good.
But
no, he's not.
Do you still like Justin Jefferson in fantasy?
Yes.
Explain that.
Because I'll tell you why. Justin Jefferson, first off, he's dominated in fantasy without touchdowns. I don't think the Vikings will score a bunch of touchdowns. I do think they will be playing from behind, and he's going to get a lot of catches and yards. And yeah, on the other side, like the defense, do you feel good about anything about their defense?
I mean, I think it's a Brian, I think Brian Flores was made to look like a fool by Tua this offseason.
It's true.
If there's anything that's going to cause him, I think it's a Brian Flores defense, but it does, they lost a lot on the pass. They lost a lot of key contributors to that defense and what made that defense what it was. And generally what makes a Brian Flores defense tick.
I think Flores does a good job of, getting a decent effort out of what he has. So they were 23rd in defensive they were 11th in defensive DVOA last year. I don't know if they're going to be top. I feel like they're going to be, sitting around 16 to 20ish range. It feels like they're due to drop off a little bit. Now, maybe they did have really bad turnover margin, -12. You would expect some of that to regress, but you also have Sam Darnold. So I don't.
Ooh. The ultimate variable.
It was not like a pick machine, but certainly, he's good for double digits if he's going to play it'll get you 13 interceptions in 11 games. So I think there is a world where, maybe they get a little lucky with some fumble stuff, but you're starting a season with Sam Darnold.
And this is a defense that for the most part was like pedaling in the 20 to 25 range in DVOA rankings.
Yeah.
Over the last 4 or 5 years. And so the outlier of 11, sure, you can explain some of it with the coordinator and the approach, but, a lot of what made that approach work last year is gone. So, I don't know. I think it's a lot of time to talk about how Sam Darnold sucks, and I'm on the under. What's your favorite Sam Darnold-related fade of the Vikings?
Ooh.
And, to that point, though, I think I also still have him fine with Justin Jefferson because he's still going to catch all the balls. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued on Sam Darnold to lead the league in interceptions. And when we talked about this on the team preview,
what is that price?
It wasn't really in play because he was on a relatively short leash, right? Because JJ McCarthy, a guy they drafted high. Again, they usually like to play guys you draft high.
You can't play. Yeah, you absolutely can't play a guy like Darnold with a backup who was drafted in the first round.
Yeah, because the leash is going to be pretty short. But Sam Darnold,
I got it, Sean. You got it.
Well, I'm seeing 10-1. What do you find?
13-1. But to your point, what I'm looking at. He is 5th, 6th. He's like 9th chalk.
Yeah. 13-1.
Not good enough.
I don't know. What are you doing, Ryan? What's your favorite?
Well, are you scared off that price because it's too short? Because isn't this almost like the Chiefs division? Aren't you going to feel stupid in like?
But also like Nick Mullins, I could see Kevin O'Connell maybe talking himself into Nick Mullins.
I think the case. Well, I think my favorite play is probably. Man, I don't last. So I have a couple different ways of like the Vikings just starting slow.
Okay.
Because if you
know what? This is what I'll do. I'll give you I'll give you Sam Darnold, and I'm seeing this on Underdog, but obviously you can play it probably similar places, but I'll go under 20 passing touchdowns for Sam Darnold. That feels like a good way to fade this team.
Under?
Yes.
20 passing touchdowns.
Yep.
All right, let me get the updated price for the one I'm going to use. Because you look at the schedule, Sean. They go at Giants, which, again, road game. Sam Darnold, some demons in that building.
All right, breaking news.
What? You're changing?
Sam Darnold has thrown 63 touchdowns in 6 years. His best year was when he played and that's the other thing. Like, he's never finished a full season. He's never played 17 games. The closest he's ever gotten was 19 touchdowns all the way back in 2019. This is before we even knew about masks, Ryan. 19 touchdowns. And that was his breakout year for the Jets, year 2, 7-6 as a starter, 19 touchdowns. So I feel pretty good on the lower here. Or the under, wherever you're playing.
My favorite play for the Vikings is, I'm tempted to say 0 wins first 5 games plus 550.
Okay. And that's what it's at currently?
Yeah. Staring at it. So yeah, they're on the road with Giants, then they have the Niners and Texans coming to town. And then at Green Bay, and then the Jets in London.
So 0 wins first 5.
That's a tough start for Sam Darnold. Then the bye week.
0 wins first 5, and what did you
Plus
say? Plus
550. They're catching more than 3.5 points in 4 of those games. See how it goes.
It's a lot of pressure.
Basically,
on the Giants,
we got to get the Giants game.
Yeah,
but I think this, dude. All right, so yes, the offense could be fine, and maybe the defense plays well enough. But also, couldn't they just be really bad? Couldn't this be a 2-win team? They're in the competition for most losses to me.
Yeah.
Right?
But I don't know what the there's the Atlanta most losses is obviously more fun because the odds are crazier, but certainly Minnesota deserves to be in the mix.
Let's see.
But they're probably like what, 25-1?
Let's see. First, fewest wins.
What do you got?
Minnesota's 11-1.
Yeah, that's not.
I think the sheet actually is wrong. You have it has last winless. Yeah, so last winless team is 10-1.
Okay.
Fewest wins is 11-1. And going 0-5 is plus 550. So I'm gonna
Hey, have you guys signed up over on UnderdogFantasy.com? If not, what are you waiting for? Use that promo code SGPN. Get a instant deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Are you kidding me? Love me some Underdog Fantasy. I just mentioned Sam Darnold, lower passing touchdowns to 20. We're going to put together our favorite Underdog Fantasy pick'em entry for this division, the NFC North. And of course, week 1 right around the corner. It is oh man, I cannot wait. And I'm looking in the lobby right now, Ryan.
Yep.
They have a bunch of they have a no sweat bonus cash back pick 3. You get a discount on I'm being shown Baker Mayfield, Rashad White, Mike Evans higher 54.5 receiving yards against this Commanders secondary.
Yes, sir.
Love the discounts, love the plays. It's just, I mean, and they really do have everything from PLL to esports to MLB to you like how MLB was behind esports. Get it all over at UnderdogFantasy.com. Use the promo code SGPN. All right, Kramer. So we trashed the Vikings a little bit. I reduced my win by 1 and actually flipped it from an over to an under. Next up, we got the Chicago Bears, 8-9 for me, under the 8.5. You went 7-10. Any updates from when we recorded? Certainly, Caleb Williams, I thought, looked pretty good in the preseason. And I was thinking about guys who have shined in the preseason, rookies, and where to buy the hype and where not to buy the hype. To me, the difference is, are they sitting in the pocket, going through their progressions, keeping their eyes downfield? If they are, that is a very good sign. If they're creating plays outside of the pocket, improvising, scrambling around, throwing the ball, that's fine, but I wouldn't use those as like, this guy's going to be awesome. Right now, like they still could be awesome, but if you're seeing plays outside of structure in preseason football, that is not a guarantee they're going to be good. Now, if they're sitting back, going through multiple progressions and finding the correct one and completing passes, running the offense, that's a good sign. Again, it is preseason, but I think the out of pocket stuff is, to me, I'm throwing that away. I'm not counting that for really or against you. Certainly some of the out-of-pocket plays that Caleb Williams made were pretty awesome. And I do think he has obviously a high ceiling. But I think if you're looking for points that he's got to work on, it's like some of those other drives that were like 3 and outs where it was a little stiff, maybe not getting through everything. I think he's going to be good long-term. I just also think they're, Eberflus feels like a little bit of a lame duck head coach.
Interesting.
I guess I'm a little surprised if they just hit the ground running.
Well, I mean, in theory, he's going to be supported with a good defense, good offensive line, good skill position players.
Yeah.
So it's going to be hard for him to fail, I guess. The situation is as good as a rookie's seen in some
Certainly,
time.
yeah.
Especially with expectations. But that's the scary part, the expectations. I mean, when you don't often see a rookie with a 8.5 win total.
No.
And you don't often.
I mean, Bryce Young came in with 7.5.
And we smashed the I mean, AR-15 as well. But I guess the one area I would extend your point is I think just in general, you can't get excited about the preseason with rookie quarterbacks. It's fine to be like, yeah, he looks like, for me, it's like, okay, that arm looks like an NFL arm. Or cool, he's got some athletic ability.
Yeah.
But you can never tell if they're going to be good in the preseason because they're not reading shit.
Yes.
They're not actually having to process. They're not. And to your point, the scrambling is probably a sign that they maybe are processing too fast and getting out of there too fast.
Yeah, or
and
they're not. Yeah, to your point, they're not letting shit develop downfield that they should.
You're going to tell very quickly week one whether it's the Washington and Tampa or Chicago and Tennessee. These defensive coordinators are going to attack these quarterbacks in ways they've not had to process before, and so then we'll see how good they are. We'll see how good they adjust and how good they make the play on the fly. So because I recency bias, but I just think back to Justin Fields. I think back to Anthony Richardson. I think back to so many of these guys who have had these moments where you're like, and honestly, Drake May had one similar, Caleb Williams similar, where they're rolling. It's always the same thing. They're rolling out the wrong way, and they make this throw that demonstrates that they have
their body.
Amazing NFL arm.
Yeah.
And this athleticism where you're like, whoa. The problem is, it's like most of the game isn't that throw.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'll be curious. I'm kind of in the, if anything, I considered giving them a win.
Really?
I do think this team.
I mean, I feel right at 8-9.
Yeah,
I feel right at 8-9,
and I'm one beneath you.
Yeah, I think Eberflus not a good coach. I look at that defense and what they did. I don't know last year super sustainable.
I worry about, again, my biggest issue is the offensive coach, the offensive play caller. I actually think what he's done with the defense is fine. Like, the defense is solid. I actually trust that the defense is going to be a good unit this year.
Yeah, I guess
what I don't trust is that Shane Waldron's offense is going to be anything. And I don't like. I get why systems are exciting, but sometimes we look past who's the one making the plays, and we don't look at what they've done before, what they've had before. And so, yeah, I mean, it's hard to be too low on this team. I would say for a rookie, they have a pretty high floor. But I don't know if they have the biggest ceiling, to your point, because of, at the end of the day, like, we haven't seen this coach do a lot of plus EV things.
Yeah, and my favorite play for the Bears is just missed playoffs, -113.
Oh.
It's a rookie quarterback, day one starter.
What is the price right now?
I just pulled it from the team preview. I'm guessing it hasn't
I'm
changed a lot. Maybe it's probably changed, if anything, probably slightly in my favor.
What was the price?
-113.
-110.
Okay,
No,
so all right, 3 cents.
You're welcome.
But because I like the missed playoffs, because under 8-9, you're not going to make the playoffs. There's a world where maybe they're 9-8 and don't have the tiebreaker, so you're cashing that. But missed playoffs. I think he's going to have a pretty good year, a lot to build on. But again, it's just very tough to be the day one. Like, CJ Stroud was not the rule. He was the outlier. And I think historically, if you're going to give me even money, essentially, like a standard VIG of -110 on a rookie starting day one and making the playoffs in the National Football League in a division as tough as the NFC North, sign me up, Ryan.
The pricing makes it very interesting. Obviously, 8.5 playing under -110 versus missed playoffs. I do feel like you get a couple more outs on the missed playoffs.
Yeah, especially with this.
I'm with you. Just throw me down for this as well. I should make sure that I didn't have them make the playoffs, but it does seem like this is.
No, you had them 7-10. You didn't have them making the playoffs.
I don't think so, but I have my standings are.
What kind of system you got over there, Ryan?
Let's see here. Well, they're close.
Oh, okay.
They're close, but they're not.
How are they close?
Because there's a lot of teams that won 6 games or less in the NFC. It's a lot of 10-win teams and a lot of 6-win teams.
Yeah, we are fine-tuning these, getting it exactly to 270.
Oh, yeah, we're good. Perfect.
Green Bay Packers, Green Bay Packers, to me, their win totals at 9.5. I got them 10-7. Ryan has slight over. Ryan has them. Ryan has them a slight under 9-8. To me, they feel like a very similar path trajectory as the Houston Texans, where I think they might actually end up being a better team than they were last year, but not necessarily reflecting it in the win total, right? Because I think a situation where the Packers come out, like obviously that first game is going to be a little tough. They were 9-8 last year. Them getting one more win, maybe riding a little bit of that playoff momentum, but I think there's still a ton of question marks. Well, not a ton, but there are some question marks about Jordan Love, right? Because
100%.
there was that decent game sample size in the middle of the season where he really struggled. He finished super strong, although he did end the season with a really bad interception. I think he deserves some criticism for that, but over 9.5 wins, make playoffs. I like the job. I mean, I wonder what this price is at now, Ryan. Josh Jacobs' most rushing touchdowns. I gave it out on the team preview at 20-1. Maybe that's even gone up a little bit. Him to have the most rush yards in the NFC North at plus 250, I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was actually already going to get the updated price for the division rushing yards off the board.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, it does. Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, it's not like I'm not wishing injury on Josh Jacobs, but the running back room was beat up a bit.
That's true.
Dick Puncher would tell you they have a ton of young receivers coming back. So Jordan Love should have an opportunity. But to your point, if you look at that game log, and you look at this, it's hard to say like how people are coming to the conclusion that he's the good version based on this small sample size is insane to me. This is no different than what we've said about Trevor Lawrence for a couple of years, where the good is good.
Yeah, I would say this,
but the bad is bad.
I
think about that Raiders game.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say
think about that first Lions game.
No, there were some bad games in there.
They lost to the Broncos.
They lost to Tommy DeVito. Like we went through and named
off. That's a good loss.
Named the quarterbacks that beat Jordan Love. Now, yes, we understand that he's not playing defense, but it is a quarterback-based league. 10-7 feels fair to me. I'm not buying the win the NFC hype. I'm not buying them to win the division, but I do think they will be a playoff team.
Sean, how many times did Jordan Love throw for 300 yards last year? This elite, he's an elite quarterback now, highest
3
paid
times.
2 times. How many times did he throw for less than 200 yards last year, including the playoffs?
4
times.
That's great.
Not. I mean, I get it. I'm cherry picking a little bit here.
Yeah,
but that's not the profile of an elite quarterback. So I'm sorry, Packers fans. I do think they're they're going to be knocking at the doorstep of the playoffs to me, and I think everyone assumes the defense will just be better. Sure, maybe.
I mean, the Packers fan really hated their defensive coordinator.
They did. It must be better, sure. But also, you're not going to get the blazing hot Jordan Love that had one of the greatest 7-game stretches in NFL history. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a guy who is slinging less than a 1% interception. You're just not going to get that.
I do like bringing in Jacobs. I think he has a little left in the tank. I do think LaFleur is a pretty good head coach overall. I think they have a pretty high floor. I would struggle to see this season really going off the rails for the Packers. So I'll just my favorite.
What do you mean? If Malik Willis is in there, you don't think things are off the rails?
Over 9.5 wins for me on the Pack.
Really?
Yeah.
That confident?
I feel pretty good about them being a decent team. And I do like their young receiver core. I do think they could make a little bit of a leap, coming into year 2 of Jordan Love. I
feel like we should go head to head here.
What do you mean?
Well, we were just down in Vegas.
Yeah.
I was belly aching with CJ about how we don't do a lot of win totals, can't tie up the money over those -110 prices. I ended up betting on, because I just couldn't stomach laying minus 3,200 for Jordan Love to not win the MVP. I did bet the under on the Packers at 9.5 because Sean, it was plus 120.
Under was plus 120.
Under was plus 120. So it's one of the, I believe, 4 win totals I have paper tickets for.
Well, Ryan, we'll both be rooting for the Eagles then, week 1, huh?
I do think it's probably a good spot for the Eagles.
Let's go Birds.
But I also worry about both teams after week 1. Hopefully there's no bacteria issues.
Well, luckily the Eagles do play Monday night, the following Monday night at home against Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. So that is a nice spot to come back to, a little extra rest.
Kirk Cousins,
Monday night. What more could you ask for? Ryan, put on the safety goggles.
Okay,
Spuds is rocking my safety goggles. Go to sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm, and we will be getting in the lab here, Ryan. What's your rhythm models? Now, Ryan has named his rhythm models. He's got some NFL models. He's got some college football models. What are your models saying, Ryan?
Okay. Let's flip over to NFL. Let's see what's going on here. As Sean mentioned, Stacy and Bubba are my NFL models.
Well, Ryan, this is how I know Rhythm is onto something, because we have identified Titans plus 4.5 all off season.
Yeah.
Rhythm AI likes Titans plus 4.5, and Sean, SGPN NFL model, also likes Titans plus 4.5.
You know who else likes it?
Who?
Stacy,
Bubba,
and Pick Dundee.
Wow, that's a model party.
I forgot I created a Pick Dundee model.
What more could you ask for? Just go to sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm, sportsgamingpodcast.com/RITHMM to get your 7-day free trial today. Sportsgamingpodcast.com/rhythm.
Feel more confident in these glasses. I think I'm just going to continue the show. What? All right. So last team, the cream of the crop.
Yes.
Almost. We kind of have avoided a full off season of mentioning Jared Goff sucks Island and the fact that Detroit has tons of expectations.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to keep ignoring it because I have a tremendous amount riding on this team this year.
Really? Where are you at, Ryan?
Well, I loaded up on my largest division bet is on them. Got a couple NFL units on the Lions to win the division. I also tied it. I did a shout out to the Circa for allowing me to parlay division winners. And I tied it to the Chiefs. Lions, Chiefs, division winners.
Oh, look out.
Yeah, I plus I should walk in the other room and get the ticket. I think it was a plus 210 or something like that.
Lions, Chiefs, that's it.
Lions. Well, there's other division winners in there, but it's not as applicable to this episode. The Steelers, Titans, and Giants will pay me $131,000 on a $100 bet. So if you want to have fun, a little pizza bet.
So win total for the Lions 10.5. I got them in at 12-5. Ryan, shocking the world, 14-3. I mean, of all the reasons to be optimistic about the Detroit Lions, to me, the offensive line, and that's why, Penei Sewell had that foot thing. Sounds like he's good to go. But that, if stuff is to go wrong for the Detroit Lions, and knock on wood, it doesn't happen, I think it could come through the O-line injuries. That to me is the only way this really goes super sideways. Maybe the back end, the cornerback stuff gets exposed, but I mean, you've heard it hammered in the offseason, all the indoor games they played. I think this offense is going to be able to put up a bunch of points. And you give Jared Goff a really good offensive line. You give him Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta. You expect Jamison Williams to finally have a decent season here, coming in not on the most likely D-Gen list, seemingly like he's finally figured it out with what routes to run. Oh man, I'm so mad. For the playoff game, he hit that first touchdown, right? And so what I was doing, I parlayed first touchdowns. I hit the Chiefs. It was Kelsey.
Yeah, I remember.
And then I was going back and forth, either Jameson or Khalif Raymond. and I settled
That would've
on
been that would've
settled
been
on
insane.
Khalif. It was so close. That would have been a crazy hit. But yeah, I think this team is gonna kind of hit the ground running. Tons of continuity. They kept Ben Johnson, same quarterback, same head coach. Like, the vibes are pretty good. To me, it's like, yeah, the back end secondary, but they're still going to be able to score points. I honestly think the only way this team gets completely off course is with some O-line injuries.
I mean, yeah, maybe the defense isn't good. Maybe Jared Goff isn't the same as he has been, but it seems likely that the offense will cook. And if the offense is cooking, the defense will be good.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's the issue when they get in a tight game. Maybe the defense can't get it done. Maybe the pass rush can't get it done. I will say the Giants' defensive line did shred this offensive line in training camp practices, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, if the offensive line is not good or doesn't meet expectations or injuries, that to me is where I'm like, holy shit, all right, they're in trouble. But other than that, I kind of think they're in a decent spot.
Yeah, and I think in general, Jared Goff was getting pretty disrespected. I mean, we've discussed this a couple times on the show, but back when we did the MVP show, he was priced at 35 to 1. I believe he opened closer to 60 to 1 in the MVP market. He's down to 20 to 1 today.
Wow, yeah, you gave out on the team preview 35 to 1 for Jared Goff.
So I mean, yeah, we had a bunch of conversations in Vegas with people. It happened quickly, but yeah, I certainly think that for him to be the best quarterback in the division, like, people are acting as if it's a competition because Caleb Williams and Jordan Love, and we'll leave Sam Darnold off this discussion, but because Caleb Williams is this stud rookie and Jordan Love is the highest paid guy in the league, I think it's created all this value on anything Jared Goff. Any way you want to bet Jared Goff, I think is a good way this year.
Yeah,
it was just terrifying to say out loud.
Jared Goff most passing touchdowns, gave it out at 16 to 1.
I mean, I have a 50 to 1 fucking Jared Goff digital ticket in the crypto sphere. That's insane to me. You can still today, right now, get Jared Goff plus 185, most passing touchdowns in the division. This offense is going to be one of the best. If it ends up being the best offense in the NFL, would that be shocking to you?
No, not at all, especially with that schedule.
And sure, they have a running game and they have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs and all that jazz, but come on. Well, you should not be priced like that.
My favorite play for them was them to go 5-0 in the first 5. I mean, they're at home against the Rams, and maybe I end up taking the Rams with the points. I'm still going back and forth with it. They have they have the Bucks at home. Bucks will get up for that, but still, matchup-wise, is a decent one for the Lions. Then they go at Arizona, Seattle at home, and then at Dallas, which Dallas they have circled. That's a revenge game.
Yeah.
Maybe they look ahead to Dallas against Seattle. And it is interesting. Like Rams, it's a revenge game for the Rams. Bucks, revenge game for them. Seattle, also a revenge game for them. But they do have, again, 3 of those games are at home, and then you have at Arizona and at Dallas. Maybe they don't get up for Arizona, but if you're getting 5 to 1 on this, I think it's pretty fun.
Yeah, I don't mind that one. Chat was wondering where I got the Jared Goff plus 185 at DraftKings
for most touchdowns in the division. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a 3-horse race, assuming Sam Darnold's now nowhere in the mix, which he's
very much in the mix odds wise. It's plus 120 Love, plus 185 Goff, Caleb plus 300, Sam Darnold plus 600.
So Ryan, what is your favorite of all these Lions bets?
I mean, I think it might I can't give out. I mean, they're going to start fast, right?
I think so. I mean, I think when we did the show, you had what? You had last undefeated.
The division. Just put me down for the division. The fact that this is still a plus money bet is insane.
And what are you gonna re-give the division out?
I mean, whatever it is right now. Let's pull up the odds.
NFC North's division.
To me, they should be their price should be something like minus 150 to minus 200 based on the teams in their division. And it's down. All right. Plus 135.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
People are betting it. Packers plus 230. Bears plus 280. No, thank you. Vikings 11-1, Sean. So the message is out. Sam Darnold sucks.
Yeah. I can hear CJ. What about this Vikings? Dalai Lama likes that number.
If CJ tries to convince you to bet on anything Bryce Young, just say no, CJ.
No. All right. Let's close it out with our underdog entry for the NFC North. I mean, we'll start off with the Vikings, Ryan, but how do we not? I mean, I gave it out. Now that we have some clarity, how do we not take the Darnold lower season win totals? Or sorry, not season win
touchdowns totals. Or interceptions higher?
I like going touchdowns lower.
You sure?
Yes. Feel very good about that.
I'm not going to argue with you.
Okay. Next up, Chicago Bears. What do you got for the Bears, Ryan? They got Odunze, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen, 70.5 receptions. That one's talking to me. I on the team preview, I gave out Cole Kmet, but I'm getting a little cold feet on that because
feels like Everett is
Gerald Everett stuff that's been emerging late.
Shane Waldron's version of Cordero Patterson if he was Arthur Smith.
I mean, Cole Kmet should be the guy that gets the most looks, but a little nervous about that. I mean, DJ Moore has been quarterback proof, pretty reliable. Keenan Allen to get 71 receptions feels reasonable.
I think what have they moved so when we did the episode, DJ Moore was at 9,050.5. The number has
900, you mean?
950.5.
Okay.
Receiving yards. The number has moved to 1,000.5 receiving yards. We'll still go higher. Again, just go look at his.
You don't want to do Keenan Allen receptions, Ryan?
Really?
I'm just
no, I don't actually, because I think he's going to get hurt.
Okay, can I just read off his receptions?
Sure. How many did he have last year?
108 in 13 games.
What about the year before?
66 in 10 games. That was one of the rare times he didn't go over. Then
I like DJ Moore.
106, 100, 104, 97, 102, 6. And we were there when he caught one pass and then blew out his knee.
It's cold. He gets hurt.
67, 77, 71.
I legitimately worry about Keenan Allen playing in colder weather.
All right. So you want us to do DJ Moore higher receiving yards.
Yeah, that to me.
Even though we lost some CLV.
That's fine.
Okay.
He does this he did this with Sam Darnold, John.
Packers. We got our buddy Jordan Love. We got Christian Watson. We got Jaden Reed. We got Romeo Dubs.
It's from what I've read, if we want to do something positive, it's got to be on Romeo. It does seem
I like Romeo, but I also like fading a guy who had to have his hamstring length adjusted in the offseason. I mean,
he went to Germany. He's good now.
That sounds Christian Watson's had some moments, but man, the fact that your one hamstring is longer than the other, or his leg was longer and they had to adjust it.
So you think he's not past his injury issues? As an injury specialist, are you breaking news right now that Christian Watson will get injured again this year?
Right. We've been watching handicap in the NFL for literally decades upon decades. Have you ever heard of anything similar to what Romeo Dobbs had? Or sorry, Christian Watson?
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that to me, that's usually the red flag alert.
All right, let's
now. I like Romeo Dobbs.
I liked fading Christian Watson. There's so many guys on this team.
Yeah,
Dontavian Wicks, your guy Bo Melton.
Yeah, no, I mean
Luke Musgrave, Tucker Kraft.
Again, that's why I have them 10-7. I think there's so many options of guys they can throw to.
All right, so Watson lower TDs or yards? I don't think it matters. He's not getting either, right?
I like fading the yards because that is something that, even if you have a spike game, it would be tougher to get over. So I'll go lower yards. I think that's what we're going to do. And then last but not least, the Detroit Lions. We got Jerry Goff here, 26.5 passing touchdowns. Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra, David Montgomery, who kind of forgets on the team.
Yeah, look at that touchdown number, 9.5.
I mean, that's
strong.
It's, yeah.
What do you like the most? I mean, if you want to be very simplistic, just look at what Jared Goff has thrown for yardage wise over the last few years. The number feels disrespectful.
I like Sam Laporta, but I think the safest, or at least like, hey, just the Jared Goff passing yards, 41.60.5 higher.
Yeah.
But I'm open to suggestions.
No, I think that, I mean, if Jared Goff has thrown for 9,000 yards in the last 2 seasons, where are they getting this number from?
Yeah, 41.60.5
That's
feels
higher.
pretty good. Okay. So we have Jared Goff higher, 41.60.5. Christian Watson lower, 77.50.5 receiving yards. DJ Moore higher, 1,000.5 receiving yards, and Sam Darnold lower, 20 passing touchdowns.
Kind of feel like going mega on this one. Do I go?
This does feel pretty good.
Do I go max 500?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's do it.
It's gonna be sweet when these hit, Ryan. And
This one will win 5,000.
even I think if we win like 2 of these division ones, we're gonna be
They're all 10-1.
Yeah,
so
we're gonna be plus plus money.
10-4-1.
Yes. We're gonna be plus money,
Yes.
and then have a nice little kitty going into the playoffs.
Well, if one of my 2 is the NFC North, we will be in business.
UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code SGPN. Hey, still time to catch up on the team preview. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/phrase. Submit your entry to the phrase that pays. We will announce the winner. $500 NFL Circa on us.
Ooh.
Week 1 NFL Pick Show, 8:30 Pacific is when we will be kicking it off. Tune in live on YouTube, youtube.com/sportsgamblingpodcast. Follow us on X at Gambling Podcast. Kramer, what is the next show we're going to be doing?
Well, there is one more division to speak
The
about.
NFC Beast.
Are they still calling it that?
I do. I still
Nice.
call it that.
Nice.
Yeah, I still have one win to pull away. Who will I pull it away from, Ryan? With the Washington, the Giants, Dallas, or the Eagles? We'll see.
You do have a lot of choices.
It would be fun to knock the Giants from 4-13 down to 3-14.
Anything, whatever you have to do to make yourself feel better.
I'm feeling pretty good.
I would just
pretty good.
I would just be concerned about the things I've heard about Jalen Hurts this offseason. Just leave it at that.
Oh, what?
We don't need to bring it up. It's an NFC North episode.
Oh, well, if you're talking about,
we can save it for the NFC East.
If you're talking about Jalen Hurts news, I assume you mean the program he recently started, charity program to help,
of course, distraction,
install air conditioners in public schools in Philadelphia.
Brave.
There was a bunch of schools that had to be let out early today because of excessive heat, but thankfully to Jalen Hurts and his donation, all the schools that he was able to hook up, they had AC and they were able to stay in schools. Shout out to you, Jalen Hurts, doing the Lord's work. NFC East, and then we have our final Super Bowl predictions. NFL Week 1, DFS props picks. It's here, and go back and check out the College Football Week 1, Part 1 and Part 2. We have a weekday episode for the Thursday, Friday games, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Part 2.
Yes, and you forgot we are going to be touching on the PLL playoffs next week.
Yes, everyone's
going to crowbar
stay
that in.
locked in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is lacrosse time.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
Don't be jealous of this stick work.
Kramer, let it ride.